Our special guest tonight on SA Music Box is Jack Rahme. Jack Rahme is a music promoter, event manager, and artist manager extraordinaire. He manages more artists than I can count on this one hand. He's chosen 3 songs for us. He's had to make the difficult choice because he works with so many artists. So check this out. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of SA Music Box. Our guest tonight is Jack Rahme. Jack is a man who is, how can I say, committed to local music as an event manager and an artist manager. He's also an active advocate for local music. Jack has won my admiration personally as a music promoter. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jack, this is SA Music Box. Now, you've got a hard job on your hands tonight because you've got to select 3 SA music songs to put in your music box.
It is difficult because I could fill out a lot more than 3, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you work with lots of bands. Now, I have a few questions to start with before we get into it. We'd like to enlighten our audience with what goes on behind music and the intricacies to try and break it down to them. When did you get into active music management?
We actually started doing some acoustic shows back in end of 2011, 2012. I was involved more on the business side of it, more than promoting and that sort of thing. And we started putting these events together. And through the process, I started interacting with some artists who actually needed the business side of it. They wanted to be managed and find out what else.
Generally, almost all of them,
themselves as being a product. Yeah. So, most musicians are terrible at managing themselves.
Exactly.
And being called a product isn't good for them.
Yeah.
But it's something that I saw. I kind of got pulled into it a bit, but then saw the need for it. So by 2012, I had hit music registered as an option and just started going from there.
Okay.
Got more involved in shows, went to a flood of events, looking at what's going on, how people are running events. And then, just started growing our portfolio, started picking up artists and bands, started doing bookings for over 30 different bands. And it kind of grew over the last 7 years.
Fantastic. What does Hit Music then do as a company? So it's artist management?
Yeah, so
bookings?
It's artist and band management. We do music events.
Right.
We do full event organizing. So we'll handle the event from the flowers and the decor and catering to the music side. And we always try to make sure whatever event we do organize, it's around music, as well as festivals. So it's the organizing of every type of music event and trying to see if we can get music into every possible option.
Yeah.
So from coffee bars to nightclubs to...
Listen, having played at some of your events, I've also noticed that you have an interesting way of packaging events in terms of making it either artist or genre specific to group artists together, and you get generally better audiences, you find?
Yeah, the idea behind some of the shows we try and do is to create more of an experience than just a gig. So even if we put 3 artists on a lineup, we'll try and see that it blends or creates a different sort of experience for people. So it's not just a typical thing and you're going to see 3 of the same type of artists. Even, for example, like a Rusty Hook lineup on a Wednesday. Yeah. You could have a heavy rock band, you can have an acoustic artist, and you can have a looping artist.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's varied, and that's the nice dynamic about it, because you'll find in that situation it caters to various people in the crowd.
Yeah. How many artists would you say that you manage right now?
Currently, we manage 14.
Yeah.
And we do bookings for about 37.
That's amazing. I mean, that's actually quite a significant number.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, time-wise, we can only manage so many if we're going to do it properly.
Yeah.
But also, it's a nice number and nice variety where we can put unique shows together. Similar to like one we're doing on Saturday, which is also very varied. But it's all like a hit music showcase of the kind of artists that are under our portfolio. Okay.
Well, those were the easy questions. Now, for your first song for SA Music Box, Jack.
Okay. I'll have to give props to Vonnerbom. So one of my old favorites is Never Ever.
Fantastic. That is Jack Rahme's first selection for SA Music Box. It's Vonnerbom. Boom play quite a bit.
Yeah, from early days, used to go to lots of shows together. And yeah, I mean, Sito's a phenomenal artist. And
Fantastic performer, yeah.
I mean, from watching them 20 odd years ago to watching them now, still currently, they still give their all. If there's 5 people in the crowd or thousands, they perform the same.
I used to catch them at the Bat Center at Funky's. Whenever they were out there, I was out to watch them. And my band had just started at the time, but watching them perform was like this. I wish I could be as good as that. That they were just on that level already when they started.
I mean, you get a lot of feedback about it. I mean, guys who get to open for them or get to go see them at a show, or they watch them in one of these sort of like small random towns where they did a little tour. And like the feedback the guys come in, they say like they can't believe how amazing they are and how good they still are if they saw them years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like they're quite inspiring for a lot of young upcoming bands.
They're fantastic evergreen
You feel like
brand,
if there's 2 people in the crowd, they're not going to perform. Now it makes them think about it again.
Which is your favorite artist? You've obviously seen lots of them. Which is your favorite artist to watch live?
I work a lot with Jared Smith, so we do lots of shows together, corporates, and obviously like beer festivals and that sort of thing. He's a very dynamic character. I mean, artistically, music-wise, he's amazing. But he's also very charismatic. So the way he works with the crowd and that sort of thing, the way he performs, he's also one of those ridiculous human beings that can kind of pick up an instrument for the first time and start working it out in a couple of minutes. So and you'll add it into a loop and it's in a song. And
he's a very talented guy.
So yeah, he's quite annoying that way.
What do you think audiences want to watch? I mean, you've done so many gigs over the years. I mean, what is your assessment of what audiences want to watch these days?
Look, I think there's a big void in terms of people wanting to watch South African music.
Yeah.
There's still that thing out there that people don't enjoy South African music. And it's the kind of environment when they're suddenly sitting in there, if you rope them in through a quiz or through a karaoke even or something, and they get to see somebody, that kind of puts a bit more
so surprise them.
Into it. So then suddenly they're going, hang on, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I mean, there was a crowd one night we were at Rusty Hook, and Van der Becker played that night, and he can play some very chill stuff and that sort of thing. And there was this crowd that were ready to party or whatever, and I thought, well, we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah.
And they literally came to every show at Rusty Hook for about 3 months, every single Wednesday after that,
just
because they suddenly
saw
South African music. No, well, they saw him, and when he came the following time, which was about a month later.
They got their taste of SA music,
right?
So
now they suddenly want to see who's the 3 artists every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's something where it's like a bug. You got to get them involved and get them to see it. Once they're exposed to it, then they start falling in love. And I think that's what's missing a lot of the times. There's lots of shows that are happening where it's not suitable for the environment that it's going to be put in. It's like lots of guys I see when they apply to play at weddings.
Yeah.
They're not suitable to play at weddings. You don't want to have like a heavy rock band at a wedding, but they apply for it. And if they actually get it, they're going to ruin somebody's wedding.
Well,
so I just find those kind of environments, they don't play. They just want the gig, but they're not looking at. Do they suit the?
It depends on whose wedding it is too.
Yeah.
So
Biker weddings, they want the Jasper Dans and the heavier guys as well. So
if it was Sean's wedding, he'd want a metal band in there, wouldn't you, Sean? He says yes. Sean says yes. So what is your second choice for SA Music Box? You actually spoke about Jared Smith.
Yeah. Jared Smith's just released a new track called "Sail the Sunsets."
Yeah.
He's also it's 2 pieces. Got a radio edit and an extended one. The extended one's actually got quite a bit more instruments in it and different sort of innuendos in there, which is quite nice. But a lot of his stuff is very popular at the beer fest and that sort of thing. So radio-wise, I think a lot of his stuff will go down. So the new album that he's busy working on now is going to be a good hit.
Fantastic. That's a great choice. Well, hot off the press, as you've just heard from Jack Rahme, is Jared Smith's new track called "Sail the Sunset."
Believe in me, believe because you never believed. Hey, here we go, say I changed my life in 2 steps. Yeah. Oh, won't you please release me? I wanna sail the sunsets. Yeah. Oh, my, we're living free. Said believe in me, believe because you never believed at all.
Nice choice, Jack. And do you think Jared is an artist that you would say has international potential?
Yeah, so he's working with a company called Playbook, which does a lot of bookings net for him as well. They took him over to Canada recently, and there's a call for him to go back. It's one of those things where it'll be a great opportunity for him, but at the same time, we'd lose out on a great artist.
Yeah.
But I mean, international appeal. I find a lot of the guys when they do go over for these tours and things, the international market is more
Yeah.
accepting of the type of music that the guys are doing.
Absolutely. I found that too. I mean, I think most of my audience is outside of the country on social media, which is very strange because I've very rarely performed outside of the country. But I know people have discovered it. What is your ultimate dream to achieve with an SA artist?
Interesting question. Look, I think obviously it's to get to that point where they're hitting international success
Yeah.
and big success on the local thing. In terms of
From a sales
on a
point of
local
view, from a gigs point of view, all of that, right?
it's one of those things. Once they land everything, it's
Yeah.
like, it's like always the struggling artist thing. They start off trying to make money from everything,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like an oxymoron, because once they make it, they get sponsored cars. Everything gets covered for them. They pay
Yeah,
for food. It's one of those
It's
things.
the nature of how things
But
work,
again, so
right?
it'll be international success, but obviously to be a forefront in terms of being selected when international artists come out here and play.
Yeah.
For example, like we put Jared forward to open for Passenger possibly, which would be a perfect fit. It would have been a perfect fit for the Ed Sheeran
Yeah.
show as well. But to have that kind of thing, so that literally they're on the radar when it comes to some of the bigger shows.
Now, I've worked with you over a few gigs, and I know a lot of artists who I know who have worked with you too. You are a good guy, and I think you treat artists really well. I think that's why all the artists who are with you want to always work with you, which is always it's not a common thing in the industry, to be honest. I mean, I've over the years have worked with music managers, promoters, etc. So, I mean, you are a rarity in the industry where you're a person where many artists have clustered towards because they can trust you. Have you found that you've been able to pick up a lot of artists because of that issue?
Yeah, look, I think, it's also like guys that we've taken on to manage compared to booking as well. There's a lot of guys where we have a fit, and it works very well. And I think it's also because I'm generally coming from a standpoint where I've got a passion for music, whereas I think a lot of people in the industry might just be in it for the limelight and the money side.
The money, yeah.
Money is important, but at the same time, it's got to be something where you've got to love it. You've got to want to see like new people performing. You want to see.
Well, listen, I know for a fact that you love it, because if you can sit through an entire set of mine, then you must love music, man.
Oh no, shame. And Andrew Poom as well. I give him hassles if I sing. I'm a big Andrew Poom fan, but when I get the opportunity to give him a bit of gas, I always make sure I do.
That's very funny. What type of artists are you looking to work with, and how can those artists get in touch with you?
Look, I mean, we're on all the social media platforms, but it's basically Hit Music or Hit Music SA on most of them. Websites hitmusic.co.za. They can get hold of me directly on jack@hitmusic.co.za. And so looking for, I mean, look, a lot of times I'm very open to guys. We get open mics and different things popping up. I always try to make sure that if guys are going to play an open mic or free show, it's with the view that they're going to be getting further shows from us.
Sure.
As well as venues that we work with.
And all your contact details on the website and on the Facebook page, all of that, right?
Yeah, everything.
Okay. What is your final song, your final pick? You've done well so far, by the way. What's your final pick for your music box? You never do, man.
Yeah, so one of the bands that's recently started performing again, they want a bit of a break with the lead singer working abroad as Man is Machine.
Yeah.
And they just performed now at Bring Back the Rock, where it went down amazingly. They've got a very, funny enough, speaking of one of them, they've got a very good electricity when they're performing.
Yeah.
They're all very passionate when they play. They give it their all. So, it's Man is Machine, and the song is Zombie.
Fantastic. The song is new to me, so I'm very curious to hear this too. It's Jack Rahme's third and final pick in his SA Music Box. And this is from a guy who knows a lot about music. So this is Man is Machine with a track called Zombie. Jack, thank you very much for being our guest today. As always, it's very enlightening talking to you. And I hope that artists and anyone listening to the show contacts you. They either come in to see where your gigs are being played and they come and join and support the gigs. And if they're artists, that they come and give you a call to see what you can do for them. What are the immediate gigs happening over the next few weeks?
We've got Watershed playing at Rusty Hook next week, Sunday, the 21st.
Yeah.
We've got a quiz and 3 live artists every Wednesday at Rusty Hook.
Yeah, those are lovely evenings, actually. Yeah.
So it's basically quick fire quiz 7 to 8, and then 3 live artists or bands every Wednesday. We've got an open mic night that we started running at Jozzy Show Bar, which is in Kaya Sands.
Yep.
That'll be every Thursday. And then, there'll be lots of shows at various venues, Rusty Hook, Jozzy Show Bar, Sundowners in Alberton, and Bailey's Live in Bedford View. So we're trying to get to the greater Johannesburg at the moment rather than
fantastic.
Just staying in
Absolutely
Randburg.
great news. We've had quite a few people over the last couple of weeks on SA Music Box, all very influential music industry people, and everyone was talking about we need more venues, we need more events. You're one of the people who is making the difference to do exactly what they say the solution is. So, Jack, thank you for that, and I wish you all the best with hit music and your artist business.
Cool. Thank you very much, and good to see you again.
Cheers, man.
Thanks. Cheers.
And that was Jack Rahme choosing his 3 songs for his SA Music Box. A guy who has a lot of knowledge about SA music, and he spoiled you with 3 great choices, 3 non-traditional choices for you to enjoy. If you're an artist out there, don't forget that you can contact him on Hit Music, and please go out and support our video featurette for SA Music Box by sharing it, liking it, and on Facebook and on YouTube.